Okay guys, don't forget, if you do enjoy these videos, please don't forget to subscribe and give it a great thumbs up. Okay, thank you and enjoy the video. Alright there guys, okay, before I get into the guide, I just wanted to mention a lot of people do dislike this event. Now the reason they do is because you use a lot of buffs and you lose a lot of bios, especially if you're really trying to push it. Not just that, you can go up against people who are way stronger than you and you can't really compete. But my personal opinion on this is I absolutely love Mining Mayhem. I play this game because I like to battle. I am a PvP player. I don't like to hurt my own state, so I get the battles through the side events. Now this event gives you 4 days to participate. 4 days you can constantly log in, just go in there and you can burn players if you're not strong enough or you can't make it or for whatever reason. Now, it's got a lot of strategy behind it. You do use a lot of stuff compared to the rewards you get, but these are the reasons why I play. I play the game for the fighting. I play the game for the action. It's just perfect for me because I get to log in for 4 days and I get to just do full out battles for 1 hour, just like Resvar Raid, but you get it 4 times in 1 week. So I love Mining Mayhem, and that's the reason why, even if people do hate it because of the amount of stuff you use. And as I said, you can go up against some very strong players. But other than that, enjoy the guide. And if you do want to see, obviously, some of the things you don't understand, you can check out my 4 previous videos, which do have my last Mining Mayhem fights from day 1 all the way up until the final, and you can see how we implemented our strategy and what we were doing throughout each one of the days. If, for instance, if you're wondering on how to fight the boss, you can go into the day 1 video and you'll see us fighting the bosses at the R1 and R2. Okay guys, enjoy the guide, much love to you all, and I shall see you guys next time. Good morning, good evening, or good night, depending on what time you're watching this. It's Nathan here, and it's time for the newest video. What is up, Self Squad? How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know a lot of people was asking me to do a Mining Mayhem video when I first got in 864. But I knew there was a couple of updates since I actually played, so I wanted to get the full details about the fight before actually making this video. Now, this is going to obviously be part by part because I'm going to tell you strategies and what sort of things you can try to implement, what sort of things you can try to focus on, depending on, of course, how strong your alliance is. So it's going to be broken down in each individual day. Now, the first part is the registration stage. So obviously on day 1, you have to register. That's on the Monday. If you don't register, it will automatically give you a time. Now you pick 3 time slots and it will give you one of those times. Obviously, hopefully it will give you your allocated time, but there's no guarantee to that. It can stick you at one of your other times you have picked, because of course it does need to match make 8 people. And the chances of every single one of the states getting exactly a multiple of 8 picking that time is, you know. So it will move people around to try and fit 8 people in them time slots. It can hurt you, but of course that is one of the things you have to just be prepared for. Okay guys, so the matchmaking, now they've selected the 8 people, they've given you your time, and they've given you your rank. Depending on your alliance strength, depends on what rank you're going to get. Now, if you're in a lower rank, you will get lower rewards. Just think of it like Showdown. If you're not inside the master class, you're not going to get the master rewards. Now, if you have only just unlocked the Mining Mayhem, or you've just unlocked new gen heroes, so you're now going up against harder people with harder gen heroes, you will have a lower score than the other teams. So don't expect to be in masterclass every single time. For instance, we were in Elite. Now, our alliance is a strong alliance, but unfortunately, we're not as strong as the other alliances. For instance, when we were in Elite, we were fighting people who had full red badges. We were fighting people who had the new gen hero maxed. We were fighting people who had pushed their polyplasma so much further than us because their state was months older. But, of course, because they were on the same gen of heroes as us, because we had only just unlocked Gen 6 and they had Gen 6 for like 2 months, of course, we were going up against these players. So we started off in Elite class. If you're not in Master class, unfortunately, you will not be getting the glory points. You have to get the glory points. No, the honor points. You have to be in Master class to be able to get honor points. Now, the honor points aren't here. The honor points are from the kill stage, which will be coming on later on. But if you are in any of the other divisions, Elite, Veteran, or Rookie, you are going to be getting Plasma and Airplane parts depending on your ranking. Now, we were in Elite class, so this is the rewards which we got. 80 Plasma here, 120 Hero Gear, 5 Relocators, the Distilled Plasma, plus all this one down here, because obviously we ranked first, and plus our rankings from things like the Kill Stage, Gathering Stage, and other things. Now, you're going to go up against 8 teams. There's going to be 4 on either side, 4 on the left, 4 on the right. And you do 3 days of the battle. The winners of each side, of course, will match up in the center. This is the matchmaking, as you can see, 4 teams, top and bottom. That's the knockout round. Then it's the finals, which go up against each other. Okay, guys, before we go through day 1, day 2, day 3 on the battles, we're going to go through the buildings. Because every time you occupy one of the R1s, R2s, R3s, or R4s, you can build these buildings, and they help massively. Now, the things which are more important, of course, are the ones which give you the buffs. Now, depending on what buffs you get, depends on how strong your team's going to be. Now, my favorite one is the troop health, because I know inventory health, most important. You send 60% of those. If they stay alive, of course, you're going to be so much stronger. The 22% lethality is the next great one, in my opinion. Now, the morale, I hear every time, every morale you have above the enemy team, you get an extra 10% damage. So if they have 2 morales, you have 1, they get 10% more damage. Now, I think 22% health or 22% lethality is better than that, so I prefer focus on those 2 buildings. So my first 2 buildings will go with the health, my next 2 will go with the lethality, and then my next 2 will go with the morale, if I am holding 6 of the buildings. Now, when it comes to the construction ones, this is your choice. Now, my personal preference is to go with the additional healings. Every single time you use while you're healing buffs, it will heal 60% of your troops. Now, you can do 2 extra ones of the regen lab, which will give you an extra 20%. So your healing troops will go up to 100%. Now, healing 100% of troops helps massively. Especially if you do not have the troops to actually keep up the constant fighting. Now, the construction one, I'm not too bothered on. It does take a little while to build a building, about 10 minutes or something like that, but I don't think reducing by 1 minute is really going to help. If you have 2 of them, reducing by 2 minutes isn't going to help that much. Now, the stamina one, I do not care about because I do not kill any infected, does not change anything for me. The second best one for me is the march speed. It does only add 3%. So if you have 2 of them, it will add 6% march speed for you. But if you're zooming across the map, going to multiple buildings, that 6% can help. I personally do like the little 6% march speed for me. So my first 2 will be the regen lab, my next 2 will be the vehicle, and then if I have more, then I'll go construction. As I said, the stamina cost does not bother me whatsoever, so I won't even build that. That is my little guide for the buildings. Now, let's go on to the day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 of the actual fight. Okay, guys, now we're going to go on to day 3. Now, day 3 is actually the first fight which we're going to have. Now, personally, I would have already sent out a message on day 2 saying who's going to be able to participate, because you want to know who's actually going to be active during these fights, so you can split the teams up to 2. Now, the reason why you want to try to split the teams up beforehand is because you want to know who can participate. If you just split up without knowing, then obviously you don't know if one team's even going to show up and the other team's going to be overfilled. If you try doing it on the day, you're going to be stressing. Now, if a couple of people don't show up, you can say 1 or 2 people move over, but if you're trying to split up all of the players, it's going to be chaos. Now, you also want to be saying, obviously, Team A go to this building, Team B go into this building. You'll know where you're going to be spawning by this point, and you'll be able to, obviously, tell people which direction you're wanting them to go. Now, if I look at this, you'll notice that you get various different rewards by various different ways you get things you do. Now, obviously, this is your alliance ranking. Nice rewards, 70 plasma, 30 of each airplane, 3 relocators. Now, on the kills, if you go into here, this is the rewards I got. I got 650 distilled plasma, 155 plasma, and then 52 of each part. Now, these are some very good rewards if you do rank high. Even if you just rank in top 100, you're still getting 115 plasma, plus 25 airplane parts. That's really good rewards just for getting a little bit up there in the kills. Now, the gathering has some quite nice rewards, but not quite. You get a few airplane parts. If you're right up the top, then you are getting like 22 airplane parts, which can help you, but it's not so great. But the gathering is vital. It's more vital than the kills. Now, the kills is raining the building, attacking it, but you really need to make sure that you are gathering. Anyone can kill troops, but can you gather at the same time to get your rally leads and buffs? The rally leads really need to be able to get that health, lethality, and morale buff. The attack and defense are alright, but as you know, they are some of the minor buffs. But as you can see, you can get some nice rewards. Now, if you are in the master ranking, on the kills, there will also be honor points. Now, the honor points are to get the HQ skins in the event skins, which is really, really good. I'm hoping next time, because we have boosted our strength so much, we will be inside that division. But we'll just have to wait and see if we are in there. We were new to Pier 8, new to Red Badges, new to the New Gen Heroes. The New Gen Heroes had only just unlocked. So we were a lot behind, so because we did go to the Elite. Now, if you looked at the previous videos, as I said, you can see the enemy stats, who we went up against, and you can see how this actually worked, because this has changed since the very beginning. Now, on day 1, as you can see, you got your R1 buildings. Your R1 building, you do have to fight a boss. Now, what we did was we had our rally leads set our rallies. The reason why rally leads set a main march rally is because, of course, if I soloed it, I got 4 million points. If I rallied it, I got 6 million points. But if people joined my rally, it made their points so much more. If they put their 6th march into my rally, that 6th march may have only got them, let's say, 200k points for hitting it, because it is their weakest march. But if they put their weakest march into my rally, they're then getting like 3 million points. So it is making a massive difference for the small players who are sending their weaker marches into me. Now, their first marches, of course, should be attacking this boss, try and do as much damage as they can. Now, the reason being is because these bosses drop the buffs. The buffs are needed to be able to win the fight. You need this morale buff. You need this rally buff. The rally buff makes your march capacity 100k bigger. Now, after you've got the boss down a certain percentage, I think it's like 30 or 20. I think it's 20%, then 30%. So once you get it down this 20% and it's down to below 80% health, these morale buffs will be popping. They're these little yellow symbols across the map. Just make sure you collect 2 of them. You can only collect 2 of them. It will give you 2 extra morale buffs to be using during this fight. The buffs last 15 minutes and they help massively for this fight. So I said, just collect 2 of them. You can only collect 1 at a time. So you march in, march back, march in, march back. Now, constantly be hitting this boss, because once you get it down even further or the time limit hits, then the rally buff will be proccing, and so will the healing buff. Now, the healing buffs are more important for the joiners because they don't have as much troops. They need the extra healing, so they'll be really wanting to get that. Now, the rally buffs, the people who really want it are the rally leads. Now, they do have 2 options. They can port over to the R2 boss and start smacking the shit out of that, or they can quickly get these rally buffs. Now, if you do go to the R2 and start smacking the shit out of that, I would recommend you to speed and march back just to grab them buffs. Now, that's what we did in our fights. We ported over and then we sped a march back to grab them while we were still attacking this boss, just to try and speed it along. It was our first fight. We wanted to be fully prepared. So after the R2 building, the R3s will open. This will be 30 minutes into the fight. You've got 25 minutes left to fight. Now, the R1 takes 10 minutes, the R2 takes 20 minutes. So the R3s actually you have to hold for 30 minutes in total. Or you can have just a longer time between the 2 alliances. So if you hold it for 15, they hold it for 10, then you win. The fight ends at 55 minutes. For the last 5 minutes, all you're doing is attacking buildings and whatnot. So now you're at the R3 buildings. We split the teams up to 2, and we went to both the R3 buildings. You want to try and do that as quickly as possible. Now, the reason I say do it as quickly as possible is intimidation. If they see 2 rally leads have ported over to the R3 building, they might go, maybe we should go for the other one. If they're not fully prepared, fully planned, they might go, let's go for the other one. Let's try our luck over there. There's already 2 rally leads there, and there's a load of people pointing around them. If they don't think that, they could go for a full-on fight against you. But, intimidating the enemy will help them possibly back off. Now, once you've fought these, you're going to be getting points depending on how much you hold. You'll also get rewards depending on what you hold. So if you hold the R1, you get a few speed ups, R2, few speed ups, R3, few speed ups. Now, on the point system, let's have a look. I believe it's in here. Buildings, here you go. So as you can see, you get 1,200 points for your R1, 2,000 points for your R2. If you hold both the R3s, then you'll be getting 6,400 points, will put you in a massive lead. In our fight, we held 2 of them, and the team opposing on the opposite side of us held 2 of them as well. So we were actually drawing with them. Okay. Okay, guys, we're now on Thursday and we are on to the next battle stage. The R4 has now opened up and you can now contend it. Now, you still get a reward if you control 2 R3s. It's 20 minutes of 5-minute speed ups. You have to control 2. Now, this does have a little bug. If you have one at the beginning of the day and one at the end, that actually counts as 2. So if you do control 2, by the beginning and the end of the day, you will get that. If you haven't already, then you've already gotten it. Now, you have to control the R4 to get this reward. Now, this is when you have to actually consider if it's worth giving up an R3. So if you can't compete in all ends, let's say there was a team which was in the northeast, which was contending you here, which was very tough. You're here, so you've taken both the R3s. This one's really tough. This one's pretty weak. You may want to push these back to the R2, give them that R3, and have that team go to the center, because the center's worth more points. Now, even if you've done this play, later on you can always defend your R2. It doesn't take as long of a battle to take, and once you've taken the center, you've got multiple options. The center at this point gives you so many options where you can take, but you need to control it, and you need to, of course, keep at least one R3 connected to fight it for the rest of the day. Now, as you can see, you do get a decent amount of plasma for the last day if you do control a lot of buildings. So that may actually consider into what you're planning to do. Now we're on the Friday, and it is the final day. This time, you're wanting to really do a little bit of maths. Go into the rankings and see your points. See the other people points. See if anyone can overtake you. See if you can overtake anyone. What you're trying to do is work out what the best route is. So let's say DNO was beating us by 2,000 points. We know we have to try and get 2,000 points more than them today. We know the points of each building, 1,200, 2,000, 3,200, whatever it is. You want to try and add that up onto your score, add theirs up onto their score, and see if there's any way to be able to overtake them for the very last day to get into the finals. Of course, you guys probably already knew that. Now, one thing you probably don't know is the control. It does say control 8 buildings, but you don't actually have to control 8 buildings. It has a little bit of a bug. So at the beginning of the day, we controlled 6. We automatically got the control 6 buildings. At the end of the day, we were controlling, I think it was 4 more, which 6 plus 4 gave us the 8, so we got all the rewards. The same applies for all the other teams. If they controlled 4 at the beginning, 4 at the end, they controlled 8, they got all the rewards. So you don't have to control 8 the whole entire day, so don't worry too much about that. Now, as I said, you really want to be able to choose where you want to go, because depending what you choose depends on obviously how many points you're going to be getting and if you're going to be winning. It's nice to cut people off because, of course, let's say this team has this building. They can contend that one, wherever is connected to it. So if you take this off of them, they will be unconnected to the other ones, and then they can't participate against them anymore. Just remember this affects you as well. So if you are attacking center, for instance, and this is the only one connected, they start hitting that one. If they take it before you take center, you're going to be unconnected and you cannot win it. So this is something which you really need to add into your strategy. Make sure you've still got these 2 teams. You might have even had to split up to 3 teams at this point if you have enough participation, and pick where is your best ways to get points. Okay, guys, so we are now on the finals. Now, this is the most important day. This is the day where you get really good rewards. So as you can see, we got 40 plasma, 20 of each one of these parts for winning it. Now, that's not the only points you get. That's what you get for holding it. Now, if you go into here and you go into rankings, this is actually what you'll be getting as well. So the winners of it will also get all of these rewards. The losers will get this. So you actually get 120 plasma if you win, and you'll only get 40 if you lose. Now, on this battle, it is like a mini CC. Now, the difference is you cannot join multiple rallies into center. You can only join one rally. You can't participate in towers just like usual. You can solo march the building as much as you want whenever you want. So my advice is to really be hammering at center because you are limited to what rallies you can join. Completely ignore the towers. The towers are not worth anything. Just constantly go for center. Use 3 or 4 marches for this and have 2 marches constantly gathering. Now, this will be an all-out war for the center, just like CC. You really want to try and get some people ghosting if possible. You want to be getting people to link their double rallies just in case you're going up against their top players. And you want people to be completely ready to fill the rallies because they need to be filling in, let's say, 30 seconds or a minute. You need to try and get these out as quickly as possible. You can see the fight in my previous video on how to do this. Okay, guys, I hope this helped you. Of course, as I said, I did do all 4 of my fights just recently. You can check out all 4 of those videos on my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see what our planning was, how we devised it. Now, one little extra thing which I would advise is if you do have the strongest player and you are rallying a building, please do not just solo rally. It's different compared to a CC fight or anything else. Now, if you have a double rally, get the second player, who's the weaker player, to hit 1 second behind. Now, the reason being is because second rallies do auto-fill. Now, your strongest player will rally them out, but they could ghost you. Not just could they ghost you, they could solo march you if you only have a couple 100k troops in. So, if you have a weak player, it doesn't matter on their strength. All you're doing is using their rally to fill up your rally. So if your march time is 16 seconds, their march time is 17, set at the same time, get them to hit 1 second after, and just make them use as a filler rally, just so they fill up the building. It will help massively, especially if you have the stronger player, as I said. If you don't have the stronger player, just double rally with another strong player, and that will help you take it. Okay, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. Much love to you all, and guess what? I shall see you guys next time. Have a good night, guys, and peace.
Yeah.